In Gadzema, Chegutu, there once stood a gold mine known as Giant. To outsiders, it looked ordinary, but to artisanal miners, it was a treasure chest. More than 70% of them dug their fortunes from its dark belly. But in the world of small-scale mining, safety is often forgotten. Wooden props holding the tunnels were weak, careless hands dug without reinforcement, and the shaft became a ticking time bomb waiting for the right moment to strike. That moment came when Mother Nature lost her patience. Heavy rains poured like never before, the sky split with angry lightning, and the ground shook with every roll of thunder. Above ground, many of the helpers scattered, running for shelter. But deep inside the shaft, 4 young miners, Tman, Nyaleh, Tman, and Nyashman, were still fighting with the stubborn rocks, chasing gold dust with hope in their eyes. Then came the warning signs. The walls groaned, stones began to fall. The air grew heavy, damp, and frightening. The boys shouted and signaled desperately, but their cries vanished into the storm. Nobody was there to hear them. The shaft started to crumble. The darkness closed in, and the fate of the 4 hung by a thread. The giant mine located in Gadzema, Chegutu, is one of the richest gold mines in the area. It's so rich that artisanal miners will go there to try their luck. But this mine has claimed many lives, and it will do so again. This is the story of how one of these miners got trapped in the giant mine and died. In 2016, 4 men known as T1, Nyaleh, Tman, and Nyashman went down into the giant mine shaft to try their luck at finding some gold. These men were experienced miners, but they had neglected one very important thing: the safety of the shaft. They had put in some weak supports to keep the roof from caving in, but those supports were not strong enough. As the men were mining, a powerful storm came through the area, and it brought with it heavy rains. The water made its way into the fragile tunnels and shook the mountain. When the men realized that the shaft was not going to hold up, they started to run for the exit. At that moment, Mother Nature was really angry, and she unleashed her full force on the giant mine. The tunnels started to shake violently as more and more water made its way into the shaft. The 4 miners were deep inside the mine, and there was no way out. They tried to make their way to the surface, but the water was rising fast, and the only way out was blocked. Most of the surface helpers fled to a nearby village to seek shelter from the storm, leaving the 4 miners alone in the giant mine. As the storm raged on, the miners knew that they were in grave danger. They started to look for a way out, but there was none. The shaft was collapsing, and there was nothing they could do about it. As the water rose, it carried with it rocks and dirt that had been loosened by the storm. The miners could hear the sound of falling stones, and they knew that it was only a matter of time before the shaft gave way completely. They tried to make a stand against the rising water, but it was no use. The water was too strong, and the shaft was too unstable. At one point, the miners saw a crack in the wall of the shaft. They knew that it was a warning sign that the shaft was failing, but there was nothing they could do about it. The crack grew wider, and the water started to pour through it. The miners were trapped, and there was no way out. The main entrance to the shaft was blocked as part of the shaft caved in, leaving the 4 miners trapped in the dark and the water rising around them. Their hopes of survival dwindled as they realized that no one was coming to rescue them. They were on their own, and they knew that they might not make it out alive. This is the end of Part 1. Please stay tuned for Part 2, where we will see how the other miners escaped death. Also, remember to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of our stories. Thanks for watching.